Doodlebud here. I figure a brand is always worth a second try, and so I was sent this Monteverde Ritma from Blesket. They're an online Canadian retailer. They sent me a few pens. This was their personal pick of one they wanted me to review, and I told them, I hadn't had the best experience with the brand when it comes to pens in the past, but I'd be willing to give them a second try, and I gotta tell you, I've been very surprised. I bought a Jaffa brand, a Conklin brand pen a number of years ago, and it made almost the top of the pile of my trash pens video I did of pens I wouldn't buy again. And there was a specific group of pens I called trash pens, and a Conklin one is in there because there was just so many problems with that pen. But I've heard the brand has really, done their part to improve some of those issues. And they said this pen is getting rave reviews. Everyone who gets one says they absolutely love it. I said, let's send it over. I'll give it a look. And I got to tell you, this has been really surprising me. I've been absolutely loving this pen. So this is the Monteverde Ritma. As it says here, this is a special annual collectible edition. This one is in carbon fiber. It sent me an extra nib, so we have an extra fine and a stub on here. I have really been enjoying this pen. So let's roll through this and show you what's up. So it comes in a classic box here. In here, this is the Ritma. Now this has a special magnetic cap. There's even lightning bolts go off. But it says here, this is a new technology that they came out with, precision engineered to fit precisely over the avoid air passage and ink drying. You know how much I hate my pens drying up. No need to twist it off. Just gently pull it, and a nice little popping sound. So I got to tell you, the marketing is actually accurate. I haven't had any issues with dry out. So a nice little magnetic, slippery, sliding motion on there. Very satisfying at post as well, and magnetic there too. And this thing has not dried out, so check mark there. Here's the quick info card. It comes with ballpoint, roller ball, extra fine up the stub, and an Omniflex nib as well for the fountain pens. It's made from a few different materials. We got carbon fiber, we got steel, we got some brass, there's a little bit of aluminum as well. And I look through here, the construction's really good. Streamlined design, we got this minimalist movement from the 60s to 70s. They say that's where it comes from, all streamlined and all that kind of good stuff. And everything they say is precision made. I agree with it. The build quality is pretty darn good. Comes with some little info cards as well, all that kind of stuff on them. How to fill the pen, collection guide. I guess they have all their different pens, the Conklin pens and Monteverde, and then comes with a black and a blue ink cartridge as well as a converter on the pen too. So you're all ready to go with this thing as is. Just put ink in it whichever way you want and it starts writing. They say it's designed for those who like a heavy pen, and it is a heavy pen but quite comfortable. So what do we got there? 48.9, let's call it, grams the full pen, and we're 16.4, let's say, in the cap. So that leaves us with 32 for the main body. It is a heavy pen, but I find it is well balanced. The nibs that come with the special edition, they have a black coating on there as well. It's not a lacquer. It looks like it's a PVD type style coating, or a blackened, like a tool black type style coating if it's not that. And this cap goes on there quite nice. It just pops it on there, nice and smooth action. Very satisfying. We got a slight little dimple up here, which is lovely to rub with your finger. Nice smooth clip. It's an elongated oval with a little swoop at the end. One thing with the clip, it's pretty stiff, but when I put it in, say, one of my pen pouches, it clips on there really well. Speaking of which, here it is right here. So I just go on here, slides on, and grabs it really, really nice. And if I take it off, it's not like just the cap coming, like it stays together. I don't know if you would want to put that in a shirt pocket, a white shirt pocket with a magnetic clip. Are you the kind of person that loves to dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? I would never, I don't know. I don't put these types of pens in shirt pockets to watch them leak and have accidents. But if you want to do that, that's your own deal. It also is magnetic on the back, so it's not going to fall off. If you could see that, because the camera just focuses on anything, it just feels like. It does back weight the pen, of course, but if you got a large mitt like I do, it doesn't bother me. I use it posted or unposted. For most people, unposted would be the way you go. Let's get you some dimensions. So up at the cap here, let's call it 13 millimeters. Same thing on the body. Yeah, 13, little knobby there. She goes down a millimeter. And the grip, it will be the same thing then too. So we got a 12 millimeter grip, 13 millimeter body. So 1 millimeter step down the length of that grip section. We got, 17.8. Measuring the full length of the pen, let's just call it 130 millimeters. When you pop the cap on, what do we got? 137. And if we post it, that'll be way longer than what this can handle. Yeah, longer than what this can handle. I'll try to put a number on the screen. It's a metal section, so some folks find that slippery. I find you do get enough of a grip and friction there. I haven't had any problems with that. Your fingers are going to rest on that little lip, but it's nothing too bad. I know there's other special models. I don't think they do carbon fiber. One thing I will point out with the carbon fiber, I used to work with carbon fiber, even made laser scanners out of them. Cool stuff. But at the very, very, very edge, you can see it's real carbon fiber just by the construction of it. So it's not fake or anything like that. You can see the layering in there. But this is just a property of carbon fiber. There is just a bit of an edge that you feel, a bit of a sharp edge. If that is the kind of thing that drives you absolutely nutty, well, now you know, and that might not be the one you want. It doesn't bother me, but you can feel a sharp edge there a little bit. It's not going to cut you, but it is there. Anyways, barrel comes undone. You got the same blackout coating. The nib looks a little bit darker than the coating on here. To kind of match things off, we have a steel insert in here. So that is glued. So this is, you buy these tubes, and this is a decent price pen. I forget what the price is. I'll put it on the screen, but this is an economically priced pen. You're getting a good one. And so you'll have these epoxied into there. And so you can get these tubes, you just order them, cut them to size. You have your bits that are machined and you epoxy glue everything together. So you can make this pen very affordable. So they actually did a lot of smart things from a design perspective and construction and assembly to be able to, you got to make a profit every time you make something, right? But to make a sharp looking pen, build it economically, and assembly is pretty good, but you finish off with a pretty nice result. So I am impressed with what they did and put everything together. So yeah, as long as you're prepping your material and doing the right job, that will bond very, very securely. No problems there at all. Everything is aligned. And there's a close-up of the section there with the converter that comes with the pen. I didn't see any branding on here, just sort of it takes international standard cartridges. So if you lose the converter or have another one you prefer, you can slip that one in there too. But yeah, we're inked up. I got the extra fine in here. I've used the stub. I just did a paper review on the Regalia paper. That was this pen I used. There's the stub nib. And I've been writing with the stub nib for all week long because I absolutely love it. It's tons of fun, especially with this pen. It's nice, but I thought, let's try out this extra fine. So I've been using this for 2 days now, and this nib has been working great. So we'll test drive the extra fine, then I'll switch it up to the stub. I just have Noodler's black in the pen now to keep it simple. The extra fine nib, it's an extra fine nib. Nothing, crazy as far as writing experience, but it's exactly what it should be. Very smooth. And I'm really happy with how this extra fine nib performs right out of the box. But let's keep it interesting and put in the stub. This pen has been super fun with this 1.1 millimeter stub. I might as well put in some cool ink. We got some red luster shimmering ink from Diamine. Figured this would be perfect for Christmas cards. And if you haven't seen it before, there is that sparkle. This nib is really nice. Like, I have been using this stub nib as soon as I got it. I'll try my best effort to make something look fancy. I'm not great at this stuff, but yeah, the nib is very smooth. Line variation is really lovely. It has a little bit of a squeak to it sometimes, depending on the paper. And this is the same pen I used when I reviewed that Regalia paper when I had a ton of fun. And yeah, so if you got nicer writing than I do, but having a Merry Christmas or wishing someone Happy New Year, whatever it is, for your Christmas cards or correspondence, a stub nib with this type of ink would be great, and this pen is perfect for the job. Here I am trying a little bit smaller writing, which suits my style versus large writing. But yeah, just having some fun with the nib. I was going to do a short writing sample. Maybe you could do your grocery list with the stub nib and some sparkling ink, make things kind of fun. So here's a quick look of that 1.1 stub. We got some of that red luster ink in there. Not the best at fancy writing. I do better when it's small, but you know, it gives that nice flair using that stub. If you're going to do some Christmas cards, something like that, that would be a great ink to work with. Still drying over here. This is on the Regalia paper as well. But look at that beautiful sparkly gold. It does clog up a pen pretty good. I did one more page of writing and I could already see how faint the colors start to get in it. So I had to like take the ink out and then do it again. But look at that season's greetings. That would look just gorgeous on a you know, Christmas card, something like that, or even your grocery list. You know, eggs, milk, other things you got to get from the store. Could you imagine having a beautiful grocery list like that with a sparkly ink and a 1.1 stub coming out of this beautiful pen? So my overall verdict on the pen, I really enjoy it. I forgot to mention this here. So it's got the Monteverde USA Ritma Special Edition on the other side opposing the clip there as well. But yeah, the extra fine nib, as I said there in the writing sample, is great. The stub is tons of fun. I like the capping mechanism. It does get heavy in the hand, especially, you know, when you post it like that. When it's like this, it's not too bad. But again, if you don't like heavy pens, you might not, you know, this might not be for you. But for those who like a pen with some weight to it, I think it's reasonably balanced as well. This would be something to take a look at. Fit and finish on it, pretty darn respectable. There's only a couple little things. So in here, in the cap, let me put the flash on. There we go there. So you could see the edge there that catches on the magnet and stops it from going in. You could see it's a ring that's pressed in. You could see it's pressed in, it looks like from this side. What they, you know, just from pen assembly to avoid those scratches, what they should do, you could see further down there, there's the end here. This is brass at the end. What they should have is you put a stop on here, and then you press that piece in from the top down, and then you put your clip assembly and end finial on. That would avoid the scratches on this end from an assembly purpose. And so there'd just be scratches kind of way in behind, way further down on the cap, and you wouldn't see that. At least maybe it's possible to do it that way, maybe they can't, but that would be my only tip there, is you do see some of those scratches. That's from assembly. There's a way to avoid that just by changing assembly order. On here, the threads are all pretty good. You know, it goes up against the end, so that's not too bad. But let me show you one little thing too. When you swap out nibs, I would recommend to put a little grease on them if you're taking out the whole nib collar and everything. Let me show you. You can see I took everything apart here, so the nib and feed slide into the collar and screws. But you can see here on the collar, you can see some of these marks. Those are threads. And what it has to do now, none of these things I'm pointing out actually affect the functionality of the pen, but just little details. So the nib collar goes in, and this flange, there we go, that flange will sit at the very top of that counter bore that's right in there. But then it's threaded the whole way. But then see that secondary bore down in there? That is the bore that carries the threads to accept the nib collar, okay? So these threads really are not needed. That should just be a smooth bore, but it's a very close diameter to what we have on the nib collar, and it does just leave some sort of scratches on there. And also just from a sealing standpoint, see, it just goes in, but it scratches, but then when you tighten it up, it gets a little bit of scratch mark on there. But just from a sealing standpoint, it would be better if that was actually more of a kind of a tight fit on the body versus having threads on there. It doesn't really impact it, but what I definitely would do is when you assemble this, just put a little dab of grease on there. So what is the final verdict on this Monteverde Ritma Carbon Fiber Special Edition sent to me by Blesket? It's a big thumbs up. I really enjoy this pen. This was a fantastic pick. One thing, when you head over to blesket.com, enter in Doodlebud22, okay? Saves you 10%. Sweet little deal. I inked this up with Robert Oster, Lake of Fire, and promptly smudged it with my thumb right away. But big thank you for them to sending me this pen to review, and then also working out a discount code for everybody to use. The regular nib I used, the extra fine, was fantastic. The stub is awesome. A couple minor little nitpicks just really from like an assembly point of view, but as far as functionality, This thing is great, has not dried out or hard started, so it's sealing. It's a cool capping mechanism. It's got a nice weight and balance to it. It looks cool. Like I said, the only little thing could be that edge could bother you. I know they have other versions of it. I think it's maybe like an aluminum body instead of carbon fiber. So maybe the edge on the aluminum ones isn't just quite as crisp as it is on this. But other than that, like, I'm really reaching for any issues with this pen. I think the price point is very fair. The build quality, the nibs have been performing. It looks cool. It's fun, functional, and it's got that cool magnetic slip cap. So yes, I am pleasantly surprised. This has opened my eyes to review more pens from the Jaffa type of umbrella pens, the Monteverdes or Conklins, because I got to tell you, the one I got the first time shut it down for years. So I was very happy that things have changed, and this pen, this is a well-made pen. That's it for now. I got some other stuff they sent me to review, some really cool pens and inks, and I got a bunch of other fun stuff I'm doing. And stay tuned, because I just finished playing around with this Mont Blanc M I picked up for $20. Is it really or not? You're going to find out. But until then, we will catch you next time.